YouTube family. It is me, QT, and we are here for another adventure. Today's adventure is to decorate the tree behind me. As you remember from my first video, I mentioned one of my friends gave me a challenge to not put my tree away, but to decorate my tree all year long for 12 months. So that means 12 different themed decorated tree with one tree, but 12 different decoration types. So the first decoration I am going to do is Groundhog Day. Yes, Groundhog Day. We are not going to stick with traditional, basically holidays like Valentine's Day or St. Patrick's Day. Those for me are too easy. I want to challenge myself. So the first holiday we are going to celebrate is Groundhog Day. It is a day that everybody loves. We get to find out if winter is going to stay with us and we are going to be cold for a little bit longer, or is spring going to sprung and we are going to have good weather coming our way. So we do not know this. So right now I'm going to share with you a little history about Groundhog Day, and then I'm going to show you all of my decorations. The first thing I had to do was take all the decorations off the tree. So I have done that this weekend. So here we go with Groundhog Day. Groundhog Day is a tradition that takes place every year on February 2nd. In Patuxent, a groundhog named Patuxent Phil comes out of his burrow, and if he sees his shadow, that means we get 6 more weeks of winter. If he doesn't see a shadow, it means an early spring. So we will have to see what tomorrow brings, since today is the 1st. And I believe his name is Patuxent Phil. Patuxent Phil, and it is in Patuxent, I think it's in Pennsylvania. It is a big mouthful, so it's hard to say. But that is the tradition of the groundhog. So we will have to see if Phil sees his shadows. I'm just going to go with Phil. It is easier to say. It's not a tongue twister. I am not going to get it wrong. So we're going to just say Phil. The first so how the tree is going to be split up. It's going to be split up into 3 different zones, okay? It's going to be split up into the winter zone is going to be a third of it. And then the other third is going to be split into the spring. And then the middle section is going to be split into shadows, okay? Because we have to see if Phil sees his shadows. So we're going to do winter, spring, and then in the middle is his shadow. So that is how this tree is going to be decorated. So we are going to go over right now all of the decorations that I have prepared, and I've made all of them. I have tried to keep this celebration, because it's a fun celebration. People do not people do not sell groundhog decorations. So all of these decorations I had to make. So I wanted to keep the price down, because to buy expensive decorations isn't fun, to spend all your money. And I could have, and they would have been wonderful decorations, but I didn't want to do that. So I went to the dollar store to purchase all of my decorations. It came to $30, and the rest of the materials came from around my house in terms of construction paper and hole puncher, things like that. So the first decoration I'm going to share is this. I got these neat little cards. Okay, a friend gave these to me. So this is going to be a free donated item. So I will tell you when they're donated. A free donated item. And I got the string, or it's really ribbon, the ribbon at the dollar store. And this is a fun little tag. It says, "Will Phil see his shadow. So this is an important fact, and this will go in the middle of the tree where the shadow part is. So that is going to be the first decoration that we're going to share. The second one is going to be batting. Okay, batting. I guess I should show you this. Okay, and this again was also donated. I did not buy this. And this is going to be for the snow on the tree. Okay, and this will be on the winter side. Obviously, snow is going to be for winter. So I will be kind of taking little pieces of it and putting it into the tree to show snow in winter. So that is basically an easy item to decorate. It's low cost if you know somebody that sews. Somebody that sews will have lots of this. So that is important. And if you tell your friends you're doing this, a lot of my friends donated things. They thought it was the most wonderful and unique an inspiring idea, and some of them already called me and said, did you do your groundhog tree yet? We want to see it. And I said, no, not yet. I'm going to do it later on, and I will send you pictures. And they said, oh, I can't wait. So they are waiting patiently to see what this tree behind me looks like. So you are not the only ones that are anticipatively waiting to see what this is. The next decoration we have is pine cones. Now, when I went to my friend's house, she had loads of pine cones, like loads. Her whole yard is full of pine trees. So I asked her very nicely, can I please pick up some pine cones? And she said, take as many as you want. So I took a whole trash bag. I said, yes, I could use pine cones for many different art and craft projects. So this is one. So I'm going to tell you how I'm going to use the pine cones. The first pine cone has nothing on it. It is plain. The reason it is plain is because this is going to go into the shadow section of the tree to show basically just winter natural environment of it. And it's going to be where pretty much the groundhog lives. That's what the shadow region of the tree is going to be. So this pine cone will be put at the bottom of the tree to show basically, again, where the groundhog lives. So that's an important element. Now I have to kind of get to the other ones because they're at the bottom, kind of. The next one, I can see it, which is good, is the winter one. And as you can see, it has basically white with some sparkles tissue paper. And that's to represent snow. So this is going on the winter side of the tree. And it's very easy. Now, I really wanted to use pom-poms, but when I went to the dollar store, they didn't have pom-poms. For some reason, they don't carry pom-poms anymore. And I really, really wanted pom-poms with sparkles. So if I do this groundhog tree next year, which I kind of want to do again, I will replace it with white, sparkly pom-poms. I think it would look better, but I don't know. I'd have to try it out on one pine cone to see. So I'm kind of excited to try that out. But for this year, we are going with tissue paper. And for the spring side, you are going to have tissue paper of all different colors, emulating flowers. And spring has sprung, and one of my flowers basically landed on the floor, so I have to pick that up and put it back in. But that's what it looks like. But that's what it's representing. The green part here represents growth. That is growth and beauty and all of that good stuff. Okay, so the next important So those are for the pine cones, basically. So those were free and donated. So thank you. And this all actually, the donated item came from one friend. So I am super happy that she donated them and believes in me and supports me on my YouTube journey. So thank you so much. I appreciate you. The next item is, okay, so this item I'm not that proud of. I am not an art and crafts person. I am not a kindergarten teacher, but I was talking to ChatGPT Buddy, and ChatGPT Buddy promised me that it was going to look spectacular on top of the tree as a tree topper. So not to worry. So I'm going to put my faith into ChatGPT Buddy, and I'm going to show you it, and I'm going to put it on the top of the tree and be proud of it. So it is going to be the tree topper, and it is a top hat, just like they wear for tomorrow when they go see Phil. So when they go see Phil, the club that goes and sees Phil, Patuxentawny Club, goes and wakes up Phil to see if we're going to have winter longer or we're going to have early spring. And they wear top hats like this, and they wear tuxedos. So in celebration of that, I made the tree topper be a top hat. So that is what I did. And I put a little bow, and then I put some gold to kind of make it sparkle on top of the tree. So that is what I did. But again, as I said, I'm not a kindergarten teacher or an art and craft person, really. I do my best. So this is what we came up with. So that is it. So I'm going to be proud of it. I'm going to stand strong. I'm going to be confident that it is a very good one, and it's beautiful looking, especially with my bow. And that is what we're going to go with for the topper. The next item is paper chains. I love getting some good paper chains, especially on a budget. And I love construction paper. I do. I'm a fool for construction paper. So the first paper chain is going to be, here we go, spring. Reason is because it represents growth, it represents flowers, it represents sunlight, and that is spring. So that is why it's all the different colors, as you can see, and that's going to be on our spring side of the tree. The next paper chain, of course we're going to have paper chains for all of them. The next paper chain, if I can reach it, is going to be gray and brown. And the gray and brown is going to be for the middle section, for where the groundhog is. Yes, it is. So this is where Phil's section is going to be. I'm going to call it Phil's section. Phil's section is going to be, it's brown and gray. So they didn't have gray construction paper, so I had to use pencil and color in white paper or white construction paper. So that's why it looks kind of like that, but that's how I made my gray. Okay, and just took a pencil and just kept going over it. So it did take me some time. So all of this took me about 3 days to do. Okay, 3 days to prepare. The next one is going to represent winter, because that's the last season, or the last, I guess, season we're going to celebrate here. And it's going to be, if you can see, white, black, and blue. And the reason is because the black represents, between the blue and the black and the blue and the white, it kind of goes to gray. And that is winter, okay? Winter's snow, then you have basically like an icy kind of snow, and then the black goes to the gray, which is kind of winter. So that is why the colors represent winter. Okay, and black is not, see, black is prevalent after so many, see? It's not prevalent after a lot. See, there's more, there is not that many blacks, there's only blacks every so often. Oh, and we have one more. I was gonna say that is all the decorations we have. It's not. It is not. We have one more that I made. I got a cutout online from ChatGPT Buddy. I asked ChatGPT Buddy to give me a printout of Patuxet Tawny Phil. I'm just gonna call him Phil. And he did, ChatGPT did, but he did. I don't know if it's a girl or a boy, but AI tool did. And this is what it came up with. And I did light brown and I did kind of darkish gray. And the reason is because it represents shadows. Okay, it represents his shadow. So this is what Phil looks like as the brown, and his shadow is the darker color. So I will be hanging the tree, some of the Phils like this way and some of the Phils like this, because we have to see if Phil is going to see a shadow or not. We do not know. And this will go in the middle of the Phil section because we have to have Phil. So Phil will be up top and the pine cones will be below with the paper chains. So it will be hopefully a full tree. I didn't know if I should put more decorations on, but after evaluating all my decorations, I didn't want the tree to have too much on it. Having too much on it would make it look kind of overwhelming, and some people would say gaudy. But I didn't want, everything that I told you about represents something. It has meaning of the changing of the seasons or not changing of the seasons, depending on whether Phil sees his shadow or not. So I didn't want to take away from that. So I wanted to make sure that I didn't overwhelm the tree with the decorations. All right, I'm going to go decorate the tree. I will see you back when it is completely finished, and I will then tell you some additional things. See you then. Welcome back. The tree is now decorated, and I'm going to show it to you soon. So just remember, if Phil sees his shadow, we're going to have 6 more weeks of winter. And if he doesn't, then yay, we are going to have an early spring. So we can basically take out our sunglasses and basically take out our gardening supplies, because spring will be sprung early and everything will be shiny and bright. Now, while decorating the tree, I did use some additional items. On the spring side, I noticed that it was a little bit bare, so I used some ribbon to make flowers and pipe cleaners to make flowers. Now, again, not a kindergarten teacher, so I don't know how to make flowers out of pipe cleaners. You're going to see my attempt at it. Not very good. I'm going to have to watch a YouTube video on how to make flowers out of pipe cleaners. So that will be a project that I will have to make, but I did my best and you will see my attempt at it. I also did get a cloth, or basically it is a sheet for the bottom of the tree as a tree skirt. It is a brown for basically the earth, because groundhogs live in the earth. So I'm trying to do a theme, especially around Phil. And so since groundhogs live in the earth, it is brown. And the hat came out, the top hat came out better than I thought, especially when it's up top with my bow. So I was very, very happy to see that. So let me take you to show you the tree. So as you can see, the tree is split up into 3 regions. On the left, you can see winter with the blue and the white and then a little bit of black. The middle has the brown and the gray, which is going to be representing Phil. And on the right side, you're going to see spring, which is the yellow, the purple, and the pink, and the green for flowers and plants, basically. So let me show you the top. So first of all, the top, the tree topper. There is the famous hat, because Phil's handlers are going to go out to see if he sees his shadow, and they wear top hats and tuxedos. So that is the tree topper. And then on the spring side, you have paper chains in that color. And you can see my Christmas ornaments. Oops. I'm slowly putting those away. And you can see the tree skirts. As I said, it is brown. And then you can see the pine cones. And you can see the specks, which are different colors because it represents flowers. And then you can see my attempt at making a flower out of pipe cleaners. Not the best job, but not bad. Okay, there were supposed to be tulips. And then I took the ribbon and made bows representing spring colors. Okay, and that is the spring side. That's how I represented spring. Has sprung. And then on the Phil side, or the groundhog side, I kept the pine cones closer to the bottom, as you can see. They're closer to the bottom. And then the groundhog is here at the top. And there's some shadows and some not shadows, because we don't know if Phil is going to see a shadow. And then we have a tag here, and it says, will Phil see his shadow? And we don't know. Okay, so that is the groundhog side. But we kept the pine cones closer to the bottom because that is where Phil lives, is in the earth, in a hole. And so pine cones are closer to the earth. I'm going to move the tree so you can see winter a little bit better. Oops. There we go. Had to move the tree. Okay, and that is the winter. Okay, and then there's your pine cones with the snow. And then here is snow in between all of the branches. So it gives it a little bit more texture. It makes it look a little bit more wintry. And it came out really good. And I just used batten, which is better than cotton balls, because somebody had mentioned cotton balls. I think it was a lot better using batten. There we go. And that is the groundhog tree to celebrate Groundhog Day. Now, so that is my version of the groundhog. Hi. So to go over where I got my materials, the felt that I got for Phil, I got at Hobby Lobby. Okay, they were 25 cents, so not very expensive for the felt, each sheet. So I could do 2 fills for every 1 sheet. So I got 14 out of them. So that was enough. And then what I used to hang all of the pine cones and fills was wire, I guess floral wire hanger. And I got this from the dollar store. And then I did use on the floor, Also, some twine too, green twine. I also got from the dollar store. The pipe cleaners I got from the dollar store. The ribbon I used, both of them, for the bows, I got from the dollar store. The construction paper for the paper chains I had in my house. I had that from a long time ago, so I'm not sure where I got that. That was just something I had on hand. I already told you about the donated items. And I believe that is it. I just wanted to go over it with you because I did promise that I was going to tell you everywhere I got the items from. But the only store I did use was Hobby Lobby just for the felt, and all the other materials was from the dollar store. So I just wanted to make sure that was clear, and so that if anybody had any questions about where I went, it was to the dollar store because, as I said, I kept it low. The dollar store doesn't have felt, and this was the easiest way to make decorations, but you could make these out of construction paper. I just didn't know if this was going to get wet or if it was going to be hard to trace and to put this on the tree, so it's easier to also keep, because if I want to do this next year, then this was easier to keep if it was in felt. So that is why I use felt compared to construction paper. It's more durable. So if anybody had any questions about that. Okay, so that's my version of the Groundhog Tree in my creation for the 3 different zones, which is summer, winter, and the groundhog, whether he is going to see his shadow or not, which is very exciting. So if I was going to do a theme party, which we are going to do tomorrow, because tomorrow is February 2nd, and that is when Phil comes out of his hole to see if we are going to have 6 more weeks of winter, brr, or we're going to have spring come early, yay. And we just are going to be in anticipation of that tomorrow. But our menu, our food menu, is going to be very groundhoggy, which means we are going to have chicken pot pie, and we're going to have applesauce, and we're going to have cranberry sauce. And then for dessert, to celebrate shadows, or basically sun, we're going to have brownies, and we're going to have a lemon cake, or you can have vanilla cake. So that is what our themed dinner is going to be. If you do not like chicken pot pie, you can have pot roast, or you can have, what else? Shepherd's pie. You can have soup. So you can have something warm and inviting and something wintry, a winter food, basically. If you think, any kind of food you think of as winter, that is how you celebrate Groundhog Day. And for dessert, the reason I picked the brownie and the lemon cake, or you can do a chocolate cake, I'm sorry, not a chocolate cake, a vanilla cake, was for basically shadows and non-shadows because of Phil. It's in honor of Phil. Everything is in honor of Phil. So you always want to make sure you go along with the theme, which is always what we always want to aim for. I had a lot of fun doing this project, the Groundhog Tree. It was unique. It was fun. A lot of my friends helped me and participated with me on it. We were out, my friend and I were out doing some shopping, and we had mentioned that I was going to do a Groundhog Tree, and somebody said, make sure you put it on YouTube, because I want to watch it. And I said, I will definitely do that. So to the person who told me that, this is going to be for you, this video, so you can watch the Groundhog Tree. I hope you all are going to enjoy this video, and if you like it, please push the like button. And if you want to see more videos like this, please subscribe. Remember, we have another 11 months to go to find out what other creations I get to pick to put on this tree in the next 11 months. I hope everyone has a great night. Stay warm, and I will see you next time. Bye.